Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So you guys have probably guessed from the thumbnail and the title that I will be beginning a new series known as Draft to Glory. So there will be 4 to 3 episodes maximum. So this could have been the second episode, but the video got corrupted. So yeah, here we are with the first episode of Draft to Glory. So I went with the 4-3-3 holding formation, and the first player pick that we got was pretty decent. We got Sadio Mane, Aubameyang, Sterling and Keane. I could have gone with Aubameyang because he has 93 pace, which is very good, but I decided to go ahead with Sadio Mane. I was really hoping for a striker Mane, but here we go for a striker player pick, and we again get some pretty decent players like Firmino, Lukaku and Martinez. I went with Firmino for that perfect link to Sadio Mane. So we go for our next player pick, and we again get some pretty decent players like Salah and Bernardo Silva. I cannot take Rodriguez, he only has 58 pace, which is very bad. To be honest, Salah is pretty trash. In game on paper he looks pretty good, so I went with Bernardo Silva. So we move into a midfield, and it was again a pretty trash pick. Like, all the players were common gold. I went with the Premier League players so that he can link to Sadio Mane and Firmino. So the next pick we do indeed got Valverde, which is always good to see. If we get a right back who's from La Liga or a right winger, then it would be pretty good. So we go for a CDM pick, and we get pretty good players again like Sergio Busquets, Witsel and Henderson. I again with Henderson for that link to that Premier League guy. I could have gone with Busquets, but he has very less pace. So next we move on to our goalkeeper pick, and again it was a pretty trash pick. I went with Martinez. He's pretty good in real life, to be honest. I really like him. So on we move to our first defender pick, and again it was pretty decent, you can say. We got Jimenez, so we could link Valverde to him. So I went ahead and chose Jimenez. And so if we move on to the next player pick, we got pretty decent players like Matthias de Ligt and Gomez. I went with Gomez for that link to Henderson, perfect link to Henderson. So yeah, now we move on to a left back pick, which was pretty good, to be honest. Like, we got Lucas Digne, Jordi Alba, Grimaldo and Robertson. I went with Robertson for that Premier League link. So now we move on to the last player pick in our starting 11, and it was the right back position. And we do indeed got Trent Alexander, team of the group stage card. We also got Bruno Perez, but he wouldn't link to anyone, so I went ahead and chose Trent Alexander-Arnold. I also switched Henderson and Valverde to get the extra game. So now we move on to our reserves. So the first pick was pretty good. As you can see, we got Rashford, Marcelo, Alex Telles and Messi. As I said earlier, I was hoping for a right wing from La Liga, and we got Messi. First I was thinking to go for Rashford to play him at the striker position, but I thought that I could get the RTF version, road to the final version of Rashford, so I went ahead and chose Messi. And in the next pick, we got Wan-Bissaka and that AC Milan guy and Ibrahimovic. I should have gone for Matip, as I didn't got a Premier League centre back, but anyways, I went with the AC Milan guy. I really don't know why, but I went with him, and he's pretty useless because he won't link, and it is a pretty decent card, you can say. So on we move on to our next pick, and here you will see that we get three pretty good players like Gomez, Bruno Fernandes and Kimmich. I went with Bruno Fernandes. He's a pretty cracked card in this game. I also wanted to try Gomez, but anyways, I went with Bruno Fernandes for that Premier League link. I switched him with Valverde, and then him and Henderson also switched their places. So in the next player pick, as I said earlier, I was getting the vibes that I will get a special version of Marcus Rashford, and we do indeed got that. I chose him and I put him in the striker position. He gave us the perfect link with Bruno Fernandes, and I think we were on 97 km. Anyways, in the next pick we got Gabriel Jesus. Like, in the starting of foot, everyone had him. He was a pretty good card, but now I am not seeing that many players using him because like everyone has 2 or 3 icons in the squad. So only move to on goalkeeper pick, and we do indeed got David De Gea and Alisson. I really regret taking Alisson because David De Gea is completely cracked in FIFA 21. Like he makes 20 save in a game, and I will also recommend you guys to take David De Gea if you do a draft or if you want a Premier League goalkeeper. So here I again wanted a right back from La Liga, and we got Kevin Trippier, which is pretty good. So yeah, we can like play Messi at the right wing, then at the cam position Valverde, and switch Valverde and Bruno Fernandes. Again in the next pick it was a pretty useless pick because we didn't got a player that we can really use. I took Joao Cancelo. First I decided to play him as a centre back, but then I put Jimenez back in the centre back role. So here we again got some pretty decent player like Eriksen and Muller. I went ahead and chose Muller for like a super sub. So in the next pick you will see that we do indeed got some decent players. First I thought with going the highest rated player, which was Matuidi, but it made no sense, so I went with this Spanish guy who I believe plays in La Liga. Again the next pick was pretty trash. I went with the highest rated, which was this Brazilian guy. He plays in the Eredivisie for Ajax. So this was the last pick. I was really hoping for a Premier League midfielder who was pretty good, or a centre back, but we do indeed got nothing. So I went with the highest rated player, who was Everton, 81 rated Brazilian left back. So our last pick was the manager pick, and it was again pretty trash. Like no manager was of our use. So I went with Diego Simeone. So this was a 187 draft, as you can probably see on the screen. I was really hoping for a 190 draft, like sort of that. So now let's move on to the gameplay. And here you can see that I was going into first game and I was getting pretty bad ping, like 70 or 80 something. So our opponent didn't had the best of the drafts. Like he did have Nathan Ake and Neuer and also Son, but his striker was Suarez, which is not meta this year. He did indeed have the rule breaker Marcos Llorente, but I haven't seen many people use that rule breaker Llorente. As you can see that Marcus Rashford was on the attack. He passed it to Henderson, then Henderson gets past one player, then he do indeed gets tackled. Then our opponent was on the attack with Suarez. Suarez passed to Llorente, then Llorente to Heung-min Son, and here Trent Alexander-Arnold intercepted the pass from Son, but from the throw-in, his Llorente gets the ball, he passes it to Goretzka, then Goretzka's pass gets intercepted, but he do indeed gets the ball back. He takes a shot and it was a pretty easy save for Alisson. Again Jimenez gets the ball, he passes to Alexander-Arnold, then Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes was through onto the goal and he do indeed go on to score. So in the 11th minute we make it 1-0. It was a pretty good counter attack from us and a pretty clinical finish from Bruno Fernandes. So as you can see from the kickoff, our opponent tried to go on a run, but I believe he do indeed gets tackled and he wins the free kick. He decided to take a shot, he passes it to Nathan Ake, then Nathan Ake back to Alex Telles, then Alex Telles almost loses the ball but still managed to get it back, and then Llorente gets the ball back and he takes a shot, and again it was a pretty bad shot. Again you will see that we again managed to lose the ball. This time Salah was on the ball, he tries to pass it to Suarez but we almost got the ball and we almost again gave it back. Again in this clip we will see that Henderson gets the ball, he passes to Rashford back to Henderson, and Henderson gets tackled but he do indeed wins the ball back. Then Bernardo Silva gets the ball back, he does some ball rolls and then he passes to Rashford and Rashford shoots, and we do make it 2-0 in the 28th minute with Rashford and Bernardo Silva with the assist. It was a pretty good play from us. I first decided to take a shot with Bernardo Silva, but then I decided to pass it. Here we see that our opponent was on the attack with Son and he cuts inside, he passes it to Suarez, then Suarez gets tackled but he again gets the ball back, which is very irritating. Like every time I made a perfect tackle he gets the ball back. Anyways, this time his Suarez gets the ball and he was offside. So here we'll see again in this clip that he was on the attack in the 30th minute. and then we win the ball back. Then Henderson was on the ball, he passed to Rashford, and Rashford tried to chip the keeper, but he wasn't able to do that. Then he tried to cut inside, but he gets tackled, but we again win the ball back, and Valverde was on the ball. He passed it to Rashford, then Rashford gets tackled. So it was halftime, as you can probably see from the halftime stats. It was a pretty even matched game, like he had 55% possession. In the later stage of the first half, I played freely, like I thought that this game is done, but I was pretty wrong, to be honest. In the later stages of the first half, he sort of came back, like the momentum was on his side. So on we go on to the second half, and minutes after the kickoff, our opponent was through onto the goal. I think that he should have gone further towards Allison, then he might have scored, but he didn't, which is good for us. Again, in this clip, you will see in the 56th minute, he was on the attack with Suarez, and we do indeed concede a goal. Again, in this clip, we will see that our opponent was on the attack, but Valverde made a good interception. Then Valverde to Henderson. Henderson loses the ball. Then our opponent was on the attack, and he again manages to score this chance also. It was pretty bad to see this because, as I said earlier, I thought that this game was done, but I was wrong. Then straight from the kick off, I decided to go on a run. He tackled me. We got a short free kick, which I was very angry about. Like, if he didn't make the challenge, I was thrown onto the goal. And from the short free kick, we lost possession. We got it back. Then Valverde gets the ball. He does a fake shot. Then he passes it to Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes do indeed go on to score a brilliant goal. I don't know why I feel like that Bruno Fernandes was playing on ice. I think that EA have taken the freeze promo very seriously. So again, in this clip, you will see that Mane gets the ball. He passes it to Rashford, but Rashford didn't manage to score the chance. But we do indeed got a penalty, which I think that was a very light penalty, like a soft penalty. So I decided to take the penalty with Messi, and I went to the left side, and he guessed it right, but that's why we say that time your penalties. So yeah, Messi do indeed go on to score. We were 4-2 up. So in the 71st minute, you will see that we were again on the attack with Rashford. I again tried to chip his Manuel Neuer, but he saved it pretty good. Again, we get the ball back with Alexander-Arnold. Henderson back to Alexander-Arnold, then to Messi, and Messi wasn't able to get to the ball, and ball goes out of bounds. So here we will see that in the 84th minute, our opponent was through on to goal pretty much, but yeah, he do indeed go on to score. For a second, I thought that he messed it up, but anyways, he do indeed go on to score with his OTW Suarez. Then straight from the kickoff, I decided to pass the ball to Mane. He does a rainbow flick, and he almost gets past his right back, but we do need gets the ball back. Bruno Fernandes tries to pass the ball to Rashford, but it gets intercepted, and Bruno Fernandes wins it back. Then the ball goes to Mane. Then Mane does a fake shot inside, and he gives the ball back to Bruno Fernandes, but his shot gets blocked. So that is it for the game. Now we move on to the second game. We won that game 4-2, I believe. It was a pretty good game, like we dominated our opponent. So our opponent this time had a pretty good team, like he had RTTF Alphonso Davies, RTTF Oblak, Mane, Werner, which is the worst player in FIFA's history. Like, I hate coming up against him, and also the rule breaker Costa. So here we'll see in the 5th minute that Messi was on the ball. He does the Arvan dribble and gets past Alphonso Davies, but he gets intercepted. We win the ball back to Marcus Rashford, and Marcus Rashford almost scores. Like, it was not the cleanest goal, but still I will take that goal. So in the 9th minute, you can see that Sadio Mane was running down the wing. He cuts inside, he does a roulette, and he shoots, and he do indeed go on to score. So in the 10th minute, we made it 2-0. I again thought that this game was done. I also thought that my opponent might rage quit. So here we'll see in the 14th minute that Messi does a rainbow flick, which was awful. Then our opponent went on a counter attack, and again, as I said earlier, I hate playing against Werner. Like, he outruns almost every player, but we do indeed get out of this situation, and we do indeed also go on a counter attack with Bruno Fernandes to Rashford, but Rashford gets tackled. So in the next clip we will see that our opponent was on the attack with Mane. Mane passes it to Werner, and Werner gets past the keeper and he scores a simple tap in. I really hate this Werner card. Like, I also hate his gold card. Anyway, straight from the kickoff I tried to go on a run with Rashford, but it didn't work. Again, the 26th minute our opponent was on the attack, but this time Gomez with a pretty good interception. I for a second thought that he scored, but from the corner he scores with a header from Sadio Mane. And again from the kickoff I decided to go on a run, and I almost went past the last defender, but anyways, opponent again got a chance to go on a counter attack with De Bruyne, and I think he do indeed go on to score. Yes, he scores it. I was pretty frustrated with myself because I was 2-0 up and now we are 3-2 down, which is pretty bad. And even in the 30th minute, like, first half is not even done yet. So you will see straight from the kickoff that Rashford gets the ball. He gets past two players, but it was a pretty awful pass. I tried to pass it to Messi, but it didn't work. And also in this game I decided to go with Valverde, Trippier and Messi on the right side. In this clip you will see that Rashford gets the ball. He does a fake shot, he passes it to Valverde, and Valverde do indeed make it 3-3 in the 34th minute, which is very good to see. But straight from the kickoff our opponent does some ball rolls. He passes it to Joao Cancelo, then he does a heel to heel, but Mane intercepts it and he runs down the wing, but he again almost loses the ball. Then he does a very awful pass, like I can't even describe it. So as you can probably see from the halftime stats, it was a pretty even matched game. Like, we both had 50-50 possession, and we also had 3 goals and 4 and 5 shots on target. So yeah, we also had the same pass and shot accuracy. So in the second half we go in the 49th minute. Marcus Rashford was almost on to the goal, but he do indeed gets tackled, which is pretty bad to see. I for a second thought that it was a free kick or a pen, but our opponent gets the ball back. He passes it to Kevin De Bruyne to Adama Traore. Then Kevin De Bruyne gets the ball back. He passes to Costa, and Costa do indeed go on to score. As I said earlier, this Douglas Costa rule breaker was pretty sick. And straight from the kickoff I again wanted to go on a run, and we almost got past all the defender, but that silly tackle from our opponent. So in the 73 minute he do indeed make it 4-3. I was very frustrated about it and I almost wanted to rage quit. So yeah, basically that is it for this game, and we lost this, and it was pretty frustrating to see. Just like, we dominated the first half, but still our opponent played pretty well, to be honest. Like, we played pretty awful in the second half. Like, as I said earlier, I thought that this game was done. As you can probably see from the full-time stats, he had 9 shots on target, 58% possession. His pass accuracy was also good than me, 87 pass accuracy. So yeah, I think he deserved to win this. So not the best draft, we got knocked down in the second round. So yeah, now let's move on to the rewards. I think in terms of rewards, we got a silver player pack, gold player pack and a premium gold player pack, which is not the best, but still. Then from the silver pack we again got a trash silver, but I did indeed make some money back, like 7 or 8k from selling these silvers. I kept all the main league silvers for league SBCs, which now I've decided not do them because you need to grind like 14 hours a day to complete them. Then again I sold some players. Like, I have a policy, if the player's value is above 1000k then I sell it, otherwise I keep it and put him in some like freeze SBCs that come every day. So yeah, we again got a trash player from this like club fill player, and I think that only I was able to sell 2 or 3 players from this. We got some chem styles, and I sort of made my money back, like, by selling these consumables. So basically that is it for this video, and if you found this video helpful then make sure to leave a like and also subscribe, and I will try to upload another episode next week. So until then, I will see you guys in the next one.